right, ladies and gentlemen, in order to make the keychain in SketchUp, you're going to go to SketchUp for Schools, and you're going to click on this little drop-down arrow here and select decimal in millimeters. And the keychain, as you might imagine, is pretty small, so you're going to want to zoom in close to the origin point here. We're going to use our rectangle tool, and the length and width of the toolbox are 65 in length by 25 in width, so 65, 25, and then the enter button. That gets us the beginning of the keychain. From there, we're going to use our tape measure tool, and we're going to use the tape measure to give us guidelines. So we're going to measure back, undo that, grab this line, here we go. We're going to measure back 4 millimeters. I know that said 3, but don't go by what it says at the tape measure. Go by what it says in the lower right corner, and that's what I'm typing in. So 4 all the way across, like that. Now, the next step requires rounding over the corners, and for that we're going to use the arc tool. And when I look in my menu here, I've got a couple of arc tools here, and I think it'll work with the 3-point or this one. I'm going to go with the 2, no, not that one, sorry. I'm going to go with that one. And I'm going to click on the intersection and then double click on the other intersection. Now, if it doesn't work, try orbiting a little bit, changing your camera angle. For some reason, that seems to wake it up. But again, I'm going to click and then double click. So click on the first intersection, double click on the last one, and you get these nice rounded corners like that. The next step would be to erase those guidelines. You don't need those any longer. They were just to help you round over the edges. As we can see here, right now this keychain has no thickness at all, so we're going to use our push-pull tool, and we're going to lift it up 3 millimeters. So we're going to type in the number 3, hit the enter button, and there we go. This is a great time to throw a dimension on there and double check. That is in fact 3, and that's what it ought to be. Now, I'm going to use the offset tool. This is what we used to make the walls when we made the living room. So the offset tool looks like this right here. It might be in your tool panel, but you can drag it out here. You can also just hit the letter F on the keyboard. For this, you're going to do a click on the inside, and you're going to move this so that it is 2 millimeters from the edge. So I'm going to type in the number 2, hit the enter button, and there we go. Now, we're almost finished, believe it or not. We're now going to take the push-pull tool, and we are going to push this center section down halfway. Well, if the whole thing is 3, and we want to go halfway, we're going to go down a little bit, and then type 1.5. Enter. And you'll notice in the lower right corner where it says distance, it now says approximately 2. You did it correctly, but SketchUp is rounding up to the nearest whole number. So in its display over here, it says approximately 2, but it's correct. It's 1.5. We now need to put a circle through it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a tape measure, and we're going to click on this lower line, not up top here, but down here, and we're going to drag a guide out. And we're going to come out 4 millimeters. So I'm going to type the number 4 and hit enter. Our circle is going to go somewhere on that line in the middle. So we're going to take our circle tool now, and what I'm going to do is I'm not clicking the mouse, I'm dragging it to reference the midpoint. There's the midpoint. I still have not clicked the button at all. And now when I move away from it, it gives me that small dashed line that tells me I'm in the middle, I'm in the center of the project, and I want to start my line right there. I'm going to click, drag out a circle, and we want the radius down here to be 2.5, which would give us a 5 millimeter diameter circle. So 2.5, enter. I can erase my guide tool or guideline. I can also erase this dimension. And now, much like opening up the windows for the living room, I'm going to click on the circle, and I'm going to click on the bottom edge. It cannot go down like this. Okay, we can't 3D print it if it has something hanging out from the bottom. So I need to click my mouse on the edge like that, and now I'm going to check. That looks good. It's open. We are almost there. The next thing we've got to do is add our text. To add the text, we're going to open up the text tool, the 3D text tool, which is right here. I'm going to open up the 3D text tool, and this is where you're going to type your name. I'm going to make one for my son, Henry, like that. And the bigger the text, the better it's going to look. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to select maybe the permanent marker. That would work. Or you can do this one and make it bold. That'll show up a little bit deeper. But the most important part here is the height and the extrusion. The height of your text should be set to 18. The extrusion, which is how far off of the edge or the face that it's going to stand up, it's kind of like the thickness of the letters, we want it to be 1.5. Now again, that's going to look like a 2, but there we go. We've got letters that are now 18, and that means that'll fit inside here, and they're standing up 1.5 millimeters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on face, just like that. Now that it's on the face, they're not sticking above or below the keychain. I can now drag to get it close to where I want it, something like that. And I can go just close to that circle, but not getting an intersection with it. And now I need to scale the letters so they'll fit. So from this side, I'm going to come over here and pick up my scale tool. And the scale tool has a lot of confusing looking boxes here. It's really important that you zoom in and you click on the center button. The center button is going to allow you to change the length of your model without affecting its height or width. So I'm just going to shrink the text so it fits inside there like that. You'll also notice this Y is going to need adjusting as well, so that means I got to click on the center button here and push it in a little bit. And that looks like it could work. I think I can hit the move tool and scoot this all up a little bit more, maybe like that. Then I'll click off of it. And there we go. We have the keychain. Nothing is on the bottom. That's super important. The bottom has to stay flat. The hole is all the way through. And the text is flush with the top edge of your keychain. Now we have to delete the person. So you got to zoom out, click on the person, hit the delete key. That's really important. Otherwise, the 3D printer will tell me that the object's too big because it's trying to print a person. Now, the other important thing is when you give it a name, you have to title it your name. So I'm going to go into my drive here. I'm going to select my folder, and this is where you would put your name. Even if you're putting your dad's name on the keychain, I still need your first name right there. You're going to hit save, and now the object is saved. The next thing is to download it. So you're going to click on your 3 lines. You're going to go to download as an STL. Download as an STL file. Click on the download button. When you hover your mouse over here, you're going to click on this folder. And at that point there, I will help you get it to the 3D printer. My computer's a little different than yours, so I can't show you all the same things. Yours will look different, but you will see there's a 3D printer drive that you have access to. And then you are finished with the keychain.